Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Horsemen Hangout. Well, we have a very short panel this week. It's just myself and Mr. Stephen Page. Mr. Stephen Page, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. It's the two horsemen, I guess.
Yeah, we're the two horsemen here tonight. Mr. Z could not be here tonight. Mr. Justin could not be here tonight. I did send out a couple other invites, and those gentlemen could not be here tonight. Mr. Lane is under the weather. Literally under the weather. He's not sick. He's literally under the weather because it's snowing here in New Jersey, and Mr. Lane has taken shelter. He's hunkered down at a Days Inn. Mr. Lane, if you're watching this, how you doing? And hope you have a safe journey at the Days Inn to work. From the Days Inn to work tomorrow morning. Please stay safe. You know what, Stephen?
Yes, Mr. Stay safe. We wanted you to be on here because I wanted to get your perspective on the, whole football saga, Deflategate, whatever they want to call it, But
Yeah.
Mr. Lane, I hope you're doing well, and all the other Horsemen Hangout members, I hope you're all doing well, and I just want to say to Zorzi, I hope, everything works out for you.
Yeah, same here, Mr. Z. Hope everything works out. I think what we can do basically a loose formatted show today. I mean, we can talk about and BS about whatever we want. I do want to cover the Royal Rumble in depth, though, because this is the Royal Rumble preview special. As you know, Stephen, myself, Justin, Z, and a couple other family members are going to Philly for the Royal Rumble. So I'd like to talk about. I mean, this
So
is.
it's you, Justin, and who else is going? Any?
Myself, Justin, Z's cousin, and our friend Joe are all going, and I believe that's it. There may be one other person, but I don't think so. I think that's it. So we have pretty good seats too. So I'm going to have to make some sort of sign to show. So when you watch on the network, you'll be able to see us. I'm going to be there all day, man. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to get there early. Probably sometime in the afternoon and eat some cheesesteaks and really live it up and party with the wrestling fans in the tailgating center. Maybe get some video of like the
Now you've obviously been to Philadelphia plenty of times. Now,
Oh, yeah.
where's the place for most bang for your buck? Where is the best place in Philadelphia to go get a steak and cheese?
Well, it's debatable. I mean, for me, I love Tony Luke's, and it's a sentimental reason because every time we went to an ECW arena show, you can walk to Tony Luke's, and that's where actually all the wrestlers in ECW used to go back in the day. They walk to Tony Luke's or get somebody carpool down to Tony Luke's. It's on Oregon Avenue, right near the ECW arena. That's my personal favorite. But from what I've heard, and I've been to Pat's, Gino's, Tony Luke's, but from what I've heard,
I've heard Pat and Gino's. Yeah, those are the two that I've heard of.
yeah, Pat's and Gino's. Some people like John's roast pork. They're all pretty good in their own right, honestly. I don't like one over the other. I favor Tony Luke's because it's closer to the arena, and I have nothing but fond memories of walking there from the ECW arena. So I'm going to say Tony
There's
Luke's.
actually in Boston. There's a pizza place that we used to go to when we went to events. It's been there forever. And, we didn't always go there. Sometimes we'd choose other places to go to. But I remember going over and getting a slice with my dad, going to wrestling events. And it's pretty cool. The new arena is pretty much where the old arena, where the Boston Garden was. So it's like that area I remember quite a bit going down back when events were cheaper and gas was cheaper to go to. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember, and it's so crazy. Now you gotta, buy tickets 2 months in advance or even longer sometimes depending on the event. I remember when I was a younger kid, you could just walk up to the box office the day of the event and get tickets.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember those days, similar in Philly. But times have definitely changed, and I'm wondering if, Boston and Philly are very similar in terms of WrestleMania talk because, back in the day, WrestleMania used to come to the Boston Garden. Where was it? WrestleMania 14, Boston.
That was the TD Garden. It was actually the Fleet Center back then. Now it is.
Okay, so perfect.
It was the TD Garden.
Perfect example. The Fleet Center. And our arena is the Wells Fargo Center, they both held WrestleManias in the past, and now with the big arena shows, they'll never have WrestleManias again, unless they do an outdoor show, which is they've been rumored to have at the Link in Philly, the football stadium.
And the place that they would probably do it in around here would be Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots.
Yeah, definitely. And the lighting on this webcam looks really off. I don't know why, but we have WrestleMania 20. No, not 20. Man, I'm out of it. WrestleMania 32 has been announced for Dallas, Texas. So that's coming up. Now, in the past, we've taken road trips. I mean, I know you have. Steven went to Miami. A fellow Horsemen's also went to Miami. We went to Orlando, WrestleMania 24. We went to New York.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at your guys' Facebook pages, and, that was pretty cool. I didn't know you guys went to 24. I knew you guys had gone to 28, talking with you guys in the past.
Yeah, and
28 was my first WrestleMania. Was 24 your guys' first?
No, actually 15, because 15 was in Philly, so we just drove well, I was at Philly. I don't know if Mr. Z was in Philly for that, but I know myself and my brother were there. My uncle at the time, my Uncle Don, he used to work at KB Toys. I don't know if you remember KB Toys.
Yes, of course. Yes,
yeah,
yes, that's a brand I knew well.
Yeah, he was a big manager over there, and he got us tickets. And prior to the show, there was a meet and greet with the brands that work with WWE. Like, Jakks Pacific was toys, so KB Toys sold the action figure. So they got us a little meet and greet.
I got you.
And we got to meet Owen Hart 2 months before.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And matter of fact, I'll show you this right here. This is where I got Owen the sign. Right there, Owen Hart. And then I met Brett about a few years after that, and of course we know Owen died, so then I had Brett sign right there next to his brother. He didn't have a problem with it. I thought maybe he'd have a problem with it, but he looked pretty happy.
Did he get emotional when he saw that?
He did actually. There was like a long, awkward pause for about, I don't know, I'd say 4 to 5 seconds before he signed it. He kind of looked at it and brushed it with his hand, so I thought that was pretty cool. I also have Mick Foley on here, but it kind of gets overshadowed because it's so cool to have the brothers on this thing. So
I mean, there's not too many people that have Owen Hart signature, so
yeah. So I'm gonna
cherish that.
Yeah, definitely. And he was definitely.
I actually have. I don't know if you saw when I met Mick Foley. I have a license plate from the original ECW days.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
License plate. Yeah, and it's signed by a lot of the ECW guys, and I'm sure. And you look at it and you think you can figure it out, but a lot of them, I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, you really can. That's what it's like with like sports baseballs when you have the team sign on them and some of the autographs. They write so sloppy you can't tell if it's Darryl Strawberry or Darryl Carrot. I don't know.
Well, I mean, with a license plate, you're trying to get inside the numbers and it's awkwardly. So I understand why some of them are kind of mixed and matched. Yeah. I didn't get the original signatures. I actually got them from a guy that is no longer on this earth. He gave it to me. We met him, and before he passed away, we talked wrestling, and I don't remember if he gave it to me or if his wife gave it to me after he passed. But
yeah.
I got passed out, which is cool.
Sounds cool, though, yeah. So let's talk about the Rumble. I mean, as far as the matches that have been announced, I'm going to go down the card, and then we'll dissect them one by one, because this is going to be the last show before Sunday. We're all going to be there, or at least we're all going to be watching. So the card, as it stands right now, and I don't know the Diva match, and maybe they announced the Divas match, but I'm assuming it's going to be a Divas match.
Isn't that a tag team match?
Did they announce it?
I don't know. Isn't it Nikki Bella and somebody against somebody?
I really it's really sad. I zone out so much during the Divas matches, so I couldn't even tell you. But I did hear.
It's not that I zone out during the Divas matches. I do care about the Divas, but
yeah,
it's like with the announce team, you could just totally tell Vince is telling them just to shell Twitter and blah blah blah. It's the whole saying, why, if they don't care, why should I?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, But anyway, in terms of the matches, that match, which we're not even going to get into because I don't really think anybody really cares. If it was a wedding gown match or an evening gown match, I'd probably care. But man, could you imagine that? Like just think about that. I mean, I know it's a simple concept and it's cheap heat.
I know, don't we get that kind of every week with Nikki Bella? She kind of, just wears those tight outfits that, we kind of get that every week.
Yeah, we do, but like think about like that would actually sell now. I mean, like a Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, bra and panties match. Like now they're big E stars on E, and like if they promoted that, like if they announced it for like the night after WrestleMania or something, Brie Bella versus Nikki, or well, I guess now it'd be Brie Bella. I don't know, somebody. I mean, I think it would be a big draw, but they'd have to go back to TV PG for that, or TV 14 for that. The other match that they announced, the Ascension versus the New Age Outlaws. The other match is a tag team title match, the Usos versus Damian Zandel and Michael Mizanin, The Miz. And then we have our triple threat match for the title, Brock Lesnar defending against Seth Rollins and Jonathan Cena. And I believe that's it for the singles matches and tag matches. Then we have the Rumble match itself, with the big stars being Daniel Bryan, Kane, Roman Reigns, the Big Show, Rusev, and I assume whatever legends and surprises they announce. Steven, what are your thoughts on... Well, let's talk about the undercard first. Outlaws versus Ascension and the tag title match. What do you think about those two matches?
I hope the Outlaws come in and, do the job for the Ascension, take the loss over them, and I hope they do it, in a fashion that helps them. I hope it's not like, let's just say Connor pins the Road Dogg, and when, the referee's coming down for the 3 and he counts to 3, Road Dogg doesn't pop up his shoulder or something like that. You know how they do that? You know how sometimes you'll see after the 3 count the guy will pop up his shoulder like nothing happened?
Right, yeah.
Like he didn't just take the finisher and he's not, he's no-sold it basically,
Yeah, true. So, I mean, my opinion on that, we'll go back and forth. My opinion on that match, I do hope that the Ascension go over, even though they do. I mean, I don't know how to sugarcoat it, but they're not very, other than their in-ring skills, I think their characters suck. Here's one thing I thought about today, Steven. You just said Connor. What's the other one's name?
Victor and Connor.
Okay, now, is that a rib? Like, you're supposed to be this Demolition team. Demolition was Axe and Smash. The LOD was Hawk and Animal. The Ascension is Victor and Connor. It sounds like twin brothers at a nursery school. Here's Victor and Connor. Play Legos with Victor and Connor. Like, seriously?
Yeah, well, I don't get this whole, character thing. What is that whole Illuminati thing? I don't get that. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I noticed that on their T-shirts. It's like, what? WWE is such a, like, I don't know. I don't want to say hypocritical, but it's like, okay, you're PG, but you have a Illuminati symbol on one of your characters' outfits.
Maybe I'm out to date. What the hell is Illuminati?
That's like the underground. It's supposed to be like the devil runs people by money. Yeah, like what the hell is Illuminati? It's like the devil. The devil runs people through his money. His money laundering at Chicken-fil-A. No, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Something with chicken and money. But anyway,
maybe it's a rip on them. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I really think, honestly, Steven, like, is this entire thing a rib? Like, are they supposed to be a comedy act? Is it because, like, what is the point? I mean, I thought that segment was cool on Raw with all the legends, getting heat on them. But it comes to a point where it's like, okay, why did you even bring them in? To just crap on them? I don't understand. So it's eventually going to lead to something. It's either going to be a big match at WrestleMania with legends, and they have to go over, or why even bring them in? Or it's just.
Well, I think they have to. I think they have to go over on Road Dogg and Billy.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Road Dogg and Billy are behind the scenes labeled as Triple H's boys. So if in the IWC YWC logic, if they beat them, they're going to say, oh, Triple H is bearing new talent again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the basics on that. Now, in terms of the tag team title match, Usos are the champs, correct, Steven?
Correct, yes. I hope they win. I just hope, Miz. I hope Sandow comes and trips Miz up or something off the apron, or
Yeah.
accidentally when he's doing his shenanigans, acting like the Miz, he accidentally costs the team because Damian Sandow's great. He can pull off anything. That whole DX, the whole portraying X-Pac was great. Anything. I'm sorry, anything that Damian Sandow, I find him, comedic, and I like him.
I agree, and I think
And he's good in the ring. I've never been a big fan of The Miz. I don't know about you. Have you ever been a big fan of The Miz?
not one day in my life have I been a fan of The Miz. Never.
Mm.
So, I mean, yeah, I agree. They need to take the titles. Even though, I mean, this is like Sandow is so good and so entertaining that in this role, The Miz is actually bearable. And I mean, he's actually found a role where I can watch him and actually not love him, but I can put up with him. And I think do you agree with me, Steven?
Yeah, but your focus is on Sandow.
Yeah, true. And
this is just them covering and
yeah, but he needs Miz as the straight guy, I guess, sort of to play off of and imitate and things like that. So that's the whole gimmick. But nonetheless, we both agree that they need to win the straps at the Rumble. The other match, big match.
Oh no, the Usos are the champions, so they would retain.
Yeah, that's right. Usos are the champions. So. Yes. Yeah, okay. So we'd like to see what would happen there. All right. Next we have a triple threat match for the title. Brock Lesnar defending against Seth Rollins and John Cena. Now this could go a couple different ways. I'll give you my take first. I'm going to give you a little spoiler to my pick for the Rumble, but I have to in order to give you my opinion on this match. But one avenue they could possibly take, is having John Cena, unfortunately for the fans, win the title at the Royal Rumble, and then have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble match itself, and then build towards a pretty big match.
Main event match in WrestleMania history.
Yeah, Cena and Roman Reigns. Now the other option, obviously, is what was talked about earlier. Brock retains, and then they do Brock versus Roman Reigns. That's a more appetizing match for me, if I could use that term. But you never know, and you can't count out the fact that they might do a triple threat match at WrestleMania and throw John Cena in there, because without John Cena, I don't know who John Cena works with at WrestleMania unless the Undertaker comes back, because they've been talking about this Undertaker John Cena match for years and years, and it never happened. I mean, they fought before, but never at Mania. So I think in the world title match, though, my prediction, I'm going to have to stick to my guns initially. That was my first instinct. You should always stick with your gut instinct that Brock Lesnar is going to retain.
I'm with you. I think Brock's going to retain. Yeah, I don't see how they can give the title to I love Seth Rollins. Don't get me wrong. He's doing great work right now. But is he ready for that main event? Every night, the title on his back.
No, I definitely don't think so. I do think that the feud post-Mania, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. I do think that the feud post-Mania will be champion Roman Reigns against heel Seth Rollins. I think that's going to be the program. And I think that, I don't know when Seth Rollins is going to cash in that Money in the Bank. It could be at Mania. It could be the night after on Raw, which is typical. Or it could be down the line, but I think that's the direction they're going. And I wouldn't, I don't know, I wouldn't count out the chance that Seth Rollins might pick up the title, or they might hot shot it on him for a little bit. Who knows?
But he's always got the briefcase till when was Money in the Bank, in June?
Yeah, I think in the early summer.
so he has, till June, I believe it's the 29th, so he technically has till the end of June to, cash in that title.
Right, right. And then, of course, we've got the big Battle Royal elimination match, the Royal Rumble match itself. Like I said, the headliners, Big Show, Rusev, Kane, Daniel, Bryan, Roman Reigns, and I guess whatever other legend that shows up. What do you think, Steven? What do you think about Daniel Bryan? Are they just building up Daniel Bryan just to give fans a potential reason to care about this match? Because everybody knows that Roman Reigns was going to be, or the original plan was for Reigns to win. So I guess, my opinion, they've been building up, this whole Royal Rumble with Daniel Bryan, potential Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble victory, just to give fans a little something to root for, I guess. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I want Daniel Bryan to win. I think,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. It's hard to say.
I'm kind of torn, honestly. I mean, I got really excited when Bryan swerved us and said that he was going to be back at the Rumble, entering the Rumble, and when everyone thought he was going to retire, I thought that was cool, but I just don't know if it's the right step in the right direction. But then whenever I think that Roman Reigns is ready, I just think to myself, like, he is not as over as Daniel Bryan. He's really not. And I don't know if Roman Reigns can be, if they give him the belt, he's not going to be more over than he is now. I mean, right now, what you see right now is probably the hottest he'll be in terms of a baby face. So to me, if I were to do something with him, he just got a perfect heel look. He looks like an evil dude. Just look at his face, and his eyes are like slant, got that evil kind of look about him. I think he would be a perfect heel top of the card, to have a baby face chasing him for the belt. So if they want to go that route, I don't know. Brock seems to be, and that's an interesting concept. Think about that. If they if Roman Reigns wins the Rumble and Philly, I'll be part of that crowd, pulls a Batista on Roman Reigns and starts booing him, they literally could do the same thing that they did last year and turn Reigns heel, and because Brock's getting face pops. He got a face pop on Raw, and not to say you turn him into a cookie cutter baby face, but in terms of booking the match, Reigns versus Brock could go into that match as the fan favorite. I mean, that's possible. Will that happen?
Use Paul Heyman though as a baby face, because Paul Heyman is so.
No. They'd have to definitely
punch him in the face. And,
I would do that. I mean, maybe we're kind of get onto something, Steven, because didn't Brock kind of cut Paul off at one point at the beginning of Raw and take the mic from him and start talking for himself, and he never does that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember Brock back in the day, and, everybody gives in. I give him shit for being not good on the mic. But, if given, he's not going to go out there and be a Rock. He's not going to go out there being Stone Cold. But, he's not exactly horrible. I would rather listen to Brock Lesnar speak than listen to Roman Reigns talk about magic beans and giant beanstalks or whatever the hell he was talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's one other option. I mean, Roman Reigns is awful on the mic, but I don't know, just not him. I think he's an evil dude. I think he's probably a nice guy in real life, but he just comes off as an evil character, and he needs to be a heel. So another option is to go the triple threat route for Mania and do. I mean, I told you about the one triple threat idea with Cena, but you could also do a four-way. You can do a Cena, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, four corners match, or you can do just triple threat, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns, which would be pretty solid. I mean, you'd have two big guys in Reigns and Brock, and then Daniel Bryan tying it together with the fast style of working to maybe give a little contrast there. There's a lot of different ways they could go, but the bottom line is there is no way that Roman Reigns is not going to be in that main event. Do you agree with that, the WrestleMania main event? Do you agree with that, Steven?
It seems like that's his destination.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to see him in the main event. I don't know if he's ready. I don't know if he's, I've never seen him on a house show. I've only seen him on, pay-per-views and wrestling with the Shield. So I don't know if he, works a little bit different on house shows, because I know they tend to do that. They tend to do a little bit more on house shows than they do on TVs and stuff.
Yeah, Philly is notoriously a Daniel Bryan crowd, so I'm curious to see what the majority are going to react, how they're going to react if Roman Reigns wins. I believe.
What if you had? This is just throw out there. I don't know how they would pull it off, but what if you had Paul Heyman somehow turn on Brock Lesnar? I know it doesn't. They don't seem like that on TV that they could do that, but you never know. What if he says you turn drawing a blank right now. Who we talking about?
Well, Steven, yeah.
Roman Reigns. What if Roman Reigns, he decides to go with the hot shot and say, Brock Lesnar, I thought you were the beast, but you started getting soft or something like that. Come out and just cut a good Paul Heyman promo and say, I'm going with the young lion. I don't need the,
Steven, I'm telling you right now, we should be writing WWE TV, just me and you, because just thinking out loud like this, we've basically figured out a couple problems and solved them within 2 minutes. Number one, Roman Reigns can't talk. How do we solve that? We give Paul Heyman to Roman Reigns. And then to spice up to spice up the situation, like you said, maybe have Paul Heyman go with the hot shot, go with Roman Reigns, turns on Brock. Brock becomes this cheer. If he's going to stay post-Mania, I don't know. Becomes a fan favorite, and we have the new heel combo of Paul Heyman.
I don't think he's going to stick around after Mania. I don't see him re-signing a contract.
You never know. You never know, Steven, because he could be teasing an MMA return just to sweeten and get more money from Vince. I kind of have a hunch that he's going to stay. That's just my opinion.
I don't know. I think he wants to go back to UFC.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think CM Punk's going to be stealing a lot of the headlines if he were to go back, and even if
let's go with this topic. Are you going to watch a UFC event just because CM Punk's on there?
I definitely will. I won't pay the $60 or $70 or $80 that Dana White charges, but I will go to a Buffalo Wild Wings or a sports bar and watch it, which we used to do back in the day. There was a Brock Lesnar fight that I paid for, though. I believe when he fought, was it Randy Couture? Or I think he fought Randy Couture. I think that's who it was. And he beat him for the title. The night he won the title. Yeah, I bought that pay-per-view at home and spent an arm and a leg. I think it was $65 or something. $60.
Yeah, I used to watch the UFC back when I was younger. When, I don't know, just seems like they try to, Dana White doesn't want to be WWE, but everything he kind of does with the music and, going in basically the same arenas that, and wants to get on, have a network. It seems like he wants to follow Vince's pattern.
Well, I mean, it seems like he doesn't know what he wants, because he does want to. I see what you're saying, where he wants to follow Vince's pattern, but at the same time, he wants to be taken seriously and be on SportsCenter and be just like the NFL and be a competitor to the NFL on a traditional sports level. I don't think it should be that way, honestly. I think it should be about making money, and he should be about the entertainment. I mean, it should be real. I mean, that's the selling point. It's real fighting. They need to still be real. But if they added more elements of sports entertainment to UFC, I think it would be even bigger than it already is. Like, imagine if they'd start doing. I mean, I know you're not a fan of gimmick matches, but can you imagine if they did a couple gimmick a 6-man MMA fight, or a real ladder match, or how about a battle royal with MMA guy? I don't know how.
I think, maybe if they did that, they would go away from. And I'm not opposed to gimmick matches if it's the right gimmick match and it's for a reason,
Yeah, right,
but,
right.
If they did that in MMA and UFC, I think they would go away from the fan base that is so, loves that stuff, I know a lot of people that, one of my good friends, that I see on Facebook all the time, he's an avid MMA fan, and I know if they did stuff like that, he would crucify UFC.
Yeah.
And he probably wouldn't watch it, and he would say, oh, it's becoming WWE or whatever.
Yeah, you have a lot of purists that don't want that. But, I'd love that if he really got brought. I mean, he brought in a step in the right direction was bringing in the female fighters. Ronda Rousey is so entertaining to watch. She's a great fighter, and prior to, Dana White said he would never have women in UFC. We had the interviews on YouTube, and then last year Ronda Rousey had major fights. So he's all about the money. So will we see some fun UFC fights instead of this traditional boring hump fests that always happen? I don't know. We'll see. But I like to think that
glad somebody else realizes that. I mean, it just seems like every time I turn it on, it's just, they say it's two dudes rolling around the ring and wrestling, but every time, it's punching, they're really punching, but, and then they also do this little thing where they just roll around with each other.
Well, that's what I was saying for, like, the concept between the MMA, the concept for the MMA ladder match, if I was in charge of it, I would say knockouts only, and there's no grappling. Referee breaks up any grappling, any submissions. It's just fisticuffs, and if you knock out your opponent, it's you have to get the belt before he wakes up. So if he's knocked out, you can spend all day and go to sleep and go up on a magic cloud if you want, because he's going to be knocked out forever. But that's my idea. I think they should be just a TKO. You knock the guy out. Okay, you didn't win yet. Go get the belt. That's my idea. Some people probably hate it and think that's a stupid idea, but I would pay for it.
Most of the UFC purists, if they were listening to this, but I doubt we have any hardcore UFC fans watching us right now.
No, you'd anger a lot of UFC fans, I'm sure, just like the day when the WWE started to bring in Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou Albano and Rock and Wrestling, and they went from the traditional wrestling to Hulk Hogan, and that probably angered people too, but whatever, people get over it, so what else?
I had a topic for you. I was listening to a podcast this week, and I don't remember which one it was. I listened to so many, but one of the hosts brought up a topic of what Royal Rumble winner was like the worst Royal Rumble winner, whether it would be you for personally that just pissed you off, and I have my answer, or if you knew the backstage stuff, why it didn't make any sense for that person to win that Royal Rumble.
I'm going to say the first one that pops into my mind was the year that Alberto Del Rio won. That was the worst.
That was my answer as well, yeah. I was actually there in Boston. It was my first Royal Rumble. It didn't make any sense for Alberto Del Rio to win the match. They could have made that match with Edge without Alberto Del Rio.
Also, I just recently watched the finish of that again, and it was a corny finish. It was who did he throw out to end it? It was someone who we thought was out but got back in the ring. I think. Oh, I know it was. It was
Santino.
Yeah, it was Santino. Oh my God, that was ridiculous. That was awful. Yeah, I mean, like really, like.
And the part about that whole thing is, I don't know if they caught it, but they did the whole pyro thing, and with what the hell's his name there? Ricardo Rodriguez doing that whole Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
The pyro, and he kept doing it after the show went off the air. He just kept doing it, and it was just. I was walking out of the arena, and I could still hear him doing it.
Yeah,
it seemed to be about 20 minutes. Maybe it's just in my mind that it seemed like 20 minutes, but.
I'm gonna probably piss off somebody by saying this, but I always thought that Alberto Del Rio, to me, came off as like a poor man's Eddie Guerrero. Like he couldn't lace. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like try to fill that void when Eddie passed away. Then Eddie passed away in 2005. Del Rio didn't come in until 2010. So it was like 5 years later. But I just always felt like it was like a poor man's Eddie.
Yeah. Eddie was so great. You couldn't. Nobody did that like Mexican, thing better than Eddie Guerrero. You can't.
No.
Why you go to the best when why try to make a new Eddie when Eddie was the best at it?
And you know what else? It gets downplayed because a lot of people like to talk about his work, and his work was awesome. I mean, like you just said, but he was actually pretty good on the mic for what he was. I mean, that whole angle, even though I really wasn't the biggest fan of Latino Heat with China, he was very good in that role. Like he was in love and really was a good actor and cut some good promos. And then the angle that they did with oh God, Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic.
The best one of my favorite ones was with JBL when JBL would say, "Oh, letting these something about letting illegal immigrants," and he did the whole he went to the border of Laredo, Texas, or something like that. I can't remember if it was in Laredo, but they did that whole I'm an American, you're a Mexican, you don't belong here, go back home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was fun stuff, and unfortunately, Eddie's
I
not
think
with us.
I think Eddie was one of the first wrestlers, other than Owen Hart, that I can remember after hearing their death. Macho Man, I was sad, but I did not physically cry. It didn't hit me I don't know, for some reason the night that I heard Eddie Guerrero died on TV, I just started bawling. I don't know why.
I cry. That's a good topic, and we're being honest. So I can vividly remember crying when Owen Hart died. When it happened, and then the next morning I was upset. And then of course that evening, Monday night, when they did the tribute to him, man, I was crying that night too. And I do remember crying when Warrior. They had that tribute special for the Warrior on the network. That was really sad with the ultimate, the backstage stuff at Mania. Just knowing that he passed away so shortly after that, that was sad. And yeah, I mean, very sad when Eddie passed away too. But really shame with Eddie because he really did get his life together, and he was such a. I mean, this is just me hearing firsthand accounts from workers in interviews that he was such a father figure to the younger workers and guys like CM Punk and of course his nephew Chavo and guys like that, and really was a big help. Shame he passed away. He could have been a big influence behind the scenes at this point. I mean, at this point he was probably, if Eddie were alive, he would have been probably about 45 years old at this point, I think. So
I think he died in, what, 2005, 2000.
Yes, that was like 10 years ago. So he was probably about 36 when he died, right? Or something?
36, yeah, I think it was 36.
Yeah, so he would have been in
his late, early 40s,
yeah,
mid.
Yeah, about mid-40s, I guess. So he would have been a good backstage force as an agent or something like that. But oh well. Sad though. It's very sad with Eddie. What did you think of Raw on Monday night, Steven? Especially, more specifically, well, we talked about the Ascension segment with the Legend, but let's talk about that last segment because that was a pretty big, eventful deal. What did you think about how Raw ended?
Raw ended with, Brock Lesnar coming out and just, destroying everybody with, Big Show. I believe Big Show was in the ring. He gave the F5 to Big Show, right?
Yeah.
And then did he give an F5 to Seth Rollins?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
And then we had the whole Sting thing, and Triple H was pissed. And,
yeah, I honestly,
it was a great ending.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. I mean, endings like that anymore. I thought it was awesome, and I thought it was an excellent ending. I wish we can get more of that kind of stuff, but
did you hear about the whole Triple H thing having to break character afterwards? Did you read about that?
Yeah, I saw the picture. He had to console the little kid and all that stuff. I don't know why he was crying in the first place. It didn't really say. Like maybe he there must have been something. He
was a really big Triple H fan, I guess. But
well, I don't know. I mean, like, why would they do? I mean, like, I'm thinking maybe somebody was healing on the kid by accident. Like maybe Triple H turned to him and just by instinct said, "Shut up, kid," or something like that. Like, why
Yeah,
would?
I mean, why would he? I don't know. It sounds more like he was a John Cena fan.
Yeah, I think something happened. I think, not a bad thing. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary, and I don't blame Triple H, but I think something along the lines of Triple H selling.
Said shut up, and then he was
Yeah,
like,
like,
oh,
like how indie workers and interact with fans, like shut your mouth, kid, or something like that.
right.
Yeah. So I
Right.
think,
I went to an indie event once, and this guy came over to me after a match, and I said, yeah, you suck, you lost, and he basically took his sweat and just took his sweat from his hair and me, and I was like, okay, that's a little gross. I want to deck you now.
yeah, no, no thanks. I don't. I'll pass on the sweat. Yeah, I miss indie shows. I bet I was actually a ring announcer for an indie show about 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago. My friend Joe Gacy wrestles for CZW. He asked me to be a ring announcer for his independent show. So I'd show pro wrestling, and I did that for a night. It was pretty fun.
That's cool.
I was pretty nervous too. So
Yeah, I go to one called Chaotic Wrestling. That's
yeah,
the one I go to. They're based out of Massachusetts, basically.
yeah, definitely. You got to support indie wrestling.
Yeah. I think it's
Um,
funner, I think it's funner to go to those because you're right up next to the guys and you can talk to them and,
yeah, it
you
is.
know,
Back in the day, man. Like,
get somebody off, Like, I've met Matt Taven. Matt Taven wrestles for them, so, he's an ROH guy and, I like to give him shit and he gives it right back to me, but, I also, understand that he's a hell of a worker and he's putting his body on the line to entertain me. No matter, how he acts. I don't get all, some people get really, overboard with it,
oh yeah, oh
you
yeah.
know.
And I mean, like, I didn't realize till recently that, like, Hat Guy from ECW, the ECW guy with the Hawaiian shirt and the straw hat.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he's no dummy. I think he just tried to play the part. You know what I mean? He's no dummy because I've seen him. I've seen him plenty of times. I actually got my picture with him one time about 10 years ago, and he plays the part. He just tries to get into it. He is not really that stupid. That he like jaw jacks with Terry Funk and stuff like that. Like he knows it's all a show. He's just playing the part. But
Yeah, I think that's what you got to do. You got to go there and have a good time and not take it serious,
I agree.
I understand, like, back in the day, people like Rowdy Piper got stabbed a couple times for some of the stuff he used to do. I don't know. I've never been that pissed off that I would stab somebody. And it certainly wouldn't be at a wrestling event.
No, you gotta think though. Back in the day, Steve. I mean, it was like before our time, before we were born. People actually legitimately thought it was real, especially people down south. Especially people down south. Like, were they that stupid to not know? And you would think like people down south would know because like they're more like grimy kind of like they've seen a fight before, they've seen barroom fights, and like you think they would know what a real fight, what a real punch looked like, but yet they think
Right.
and they really bought it, which is the basis of wrestling. Like if you go back, trace it all the way back. I'm not talking about like when it was like real and people wrestled for 60 minutes. My grandfather used to tell me that wrestlers used to wrestle for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 90 minutes, and they'd fight to a draw and it would be real. But after that, when they started doing the carnival circuit, that's when the wrestling that you and I love started in the carnivals, because they would have these wrestling matches at traveling carnivals, and they'd have the fans, and that's where the term mark came from. They literally would mark the fans on the back of the neck. Like if you saw a fan that was kind of like buying into it and thinking it was real, they literally would put a little sticker on the back of your neck. I'm not making this up, seriously. They put a little sticker on the back of your neck, and the reason they did that was, for one, they know who the marks are, and they know who to work, like who believes that it's real. Okay, so if you like, everybody goes to a carnival. Back in the day, carnivals were like the shit, and I still go to carnivals. So you would have you'd have doctors going to carnivals, you'd have police officers, and you'd also have gullible morons, or fans. So they would have to like weed out. Okay, we can't sell to this guy; he's gonna know that we're faking. But we can sell this. So they literally put marks on the. That's where the term marks comes from. So I thought that was funny.
Actually, the funny thing is, I was actually listening to another podcast, Jim Ross's podcast, and they had Victoria Terror she was Terror in TNA, on there, and they were actually talking about how the term mark, it shouldn't be a bad thing, it should be,
No, it's not.
a revered thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there legitimately uh, angry that how do I put this? I guess like if you really should get into it, like you said, and have fun and cheer and boo the people you hate, all the while in the back of your mind knowing it's all a show. So for those 3 hours that you're watching live or you're at the arena, you kind of lose yourself. It's almost like, I hate to say it because I hate these freaking people, but the people that like lose themselves when they go to a movie and like yell at the screen. It's like, first of all, shut the hell up and go home.
Try to watch a movie here.
Yeah. But it's the same. But it's the same basic concept where it's like you lose yourself in the moment, and you're at like really like is Ray Liotta and Rob Lowe going to hear you? Like is Will Smith going to hear you saying move, move? Oh, okay, thank you, customer in a movie theater. Now I will move because this is all really just a live action window.
I mean, you can do that at home. We all do it at home, but we don't do it in the movie theater when we're in front of people.
Right, and I think. Oh, God, I hate those people. And you know what is sad, Steven? It is really, I let them win because I never, ever now go to a movie on opening night because I just don't want to deal with the morons screaming at the screen, especially horror movies because I'm a big horror movie fan and a comedy fan. I will not go opening night because I can't deal with those people. So I
never dealt with that. So you dealt with people like literally like talking to the movie theater?
Yeah, like literally not only talking to the screen, but talking to their friends. So it's like if you went to the movie theater and you're sitting next to a couple that literally want to like jaw jack during the movie, it ruins your experience. Now here's a trick though. I can guarantee this has always worked for me. If that ever happens to you, Steven, go to the manager in a nice way and say, "Excuse me, we've had people talking the whole time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to enjoy the movie." You are guaranteed to get free passes. So you can get free passes by doing that.
I've never dealt with that. I go into the movie theater and I laugh, and I've said things to my friend, but I say it quietly. Hey, I lean over to my friend. Usually, I go with my best friend that I've known forever, and I'll say, "All right, that chick's hot," or something like that. Watch this.
If Ryback is in a WWE film and Stephen Page goes to the movie to watch it, will you scream at the screen, "Eat some meat, eat some meat"? All right, that's a no.
No.
All right, no.
Are you referring to my Daniel Bryan video?
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember that, and I remember you screaming some meat very loudly. Remember that? That was pretty funny.
Well, Triple H told me that I should yell, eat some meat, Even though Triple H couldn't hear me, I had to say it.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, it's good to clarify that. That now it's like the behind the music of the "Eat Some Meat" video. All right. All right. Let's see what time we have. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta get going pretty soon. Let's do some final thoughts, Steven, because my stomach hurts.
Real quick.
What's that?
What is your opinion on this Deflate Gate?
Deflate Gate. Let me get your opinion. Let me get your opinion first, because the first thing I'm thinking of is a hot air balloon deflating and people falling to their death. I don't really know what you're talking about. Tell me.
Well, I'm talking about the New England Patriots football scandal.
Oh.
You haven't heard about this?
No, I've been living in a bubble, honestly. I've been so busy the past week. I missed football on Sunday. I didn't even. I was so busy this weekend. I didn't even catch it. So let's talk about it for a minute.
Patriots doctored 11 out of 12 of their game balls. They apparently use bicycle pumps to pump air out of it to make it easier to grip on the field. In the third quarter, the referees were brought to the attention that the Patriots might be deflating the balls or something. I don't know. I don't even know how they would do it if, the balls are checked before the game and nobody has access to them. With all those people on the field, you would think somebody would have snapped a photo of some dude with a bicycle pump going like this to deflate the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get the logic, but
Yeah, it seems more and more, whether it be situations like that or officiating, NFL is getting more and more controversial with these deals, these off.
Well, my personal opinion on it is they need something to talk about for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they have to manufacture their own sports talk topics, I guess. But yeah, I'm out of the loop, man. I'm just yeah, it was just 10 years ago since our Philadelphia Eagles were in the Super Bowl. It's been 10 years since that 2005. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. 10 years ago.
Yeah, we beat you for our third Super Bowl title.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember vividly one of my friends, when we were watching that game, flipped a couch over, as in sofa. Literally flipped over the couch. This is not a flipped over the couch. Walked back upstairs, grabbed a brownie, came back downstairs with the brownie, ate the brownie, and that was it. The couch was flipped over. He was chewing on his brownie. That was an anger brownie. He was so pissed off. I remember that. Guz. That was an angry day for all of us. So we didn't. But unfortunately,
actually, I'll tell you something. I was very happy on that day.
Yeah, fortunately the pain for Phillies. Fortunately, the pain was lessened in 2008 when the Phillies finally won a world title, and that was like, well, they had won in 1980, but it had been so long, so it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 3 years later the Phillies won, so that was cool. At least to give those fans something. All right, before I wrap it up, Stephen, I'm going to go to final thoughts. Like I said, I'll give my final thought now. I'm going to be in Philly all day on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully, I'm going to have a Royal Rumble video for my YouTube channel. I'm going to film some crazy fans cutting promos, maybe film some of the action inside. If I see something cool, I'll film it. I'm going to get there probably around 2 or 3, maybe like 2:30 or so, and gonna have some fun. And then, of course, the Royal Rumble itself. I'll try to take some footage inside of the arena. And we'll have, of course, a Royal Rumble thoughts. You know what? My brother Justin had brought up the point of, Stephen, if you're available on Sunday night before the Rumble, if we can find Wi-Fi somewhere in the arena or outside the arena, some sort of Wi-Fi, because there are places that have Wi-Fi. If we can connect, we're going to try to do a Horsemen Hangout live via Wi-Fi from the Royal Rumble site in Philadelphia. So if you're available, maybe we'll try.
Yeah, it should be available. Yeah.
We'll try to invite you if we can pull that off. If not, then I'll be taking some video and we'll piece it together and then upload it to YouTube. So, all right, looking forward to Sunday. I will see you guys on. We'll see you guys there. Hopefully, we have some. Hopefully we have a good night, because Royal Rumble is always fun for all. So looking forward. Stephen, what are your final thoughts for this evening?
I just wanted to say, thank you for having me on. You guys have opened your channel to, having me on, and it's been a great friendship. And like I said earlier, Anthony, I hope everything works out for you. Mr. Lane, I hope the Days Inn is treating you well. Go get some continental breakfast on them, and have a safe drive to work. And to Justin, stop playing with your Slim Jim.
Justin, stop playing with your Slim Jim. Mr. Lane, have a fun night in the Days Inn. Mr. Z, best of luck with everything going on. And to Mr. Mark Golden, well, well, let's just read the on-air here, because let me just see what Mark Golden's saying. Let's read a Mark Golden tweet on the air. Want to read Mark Golden tweets on the air?
All right.
All right, let's read Mark.
Sure.
All right, Mark.
We'll end with Mark Golden tweets.
We're going to end with some Mark Golden tweets. It's Wednesday night. Lucha El Rey and WWE NXT starting at beer ... 30. Let's see what else we have here from Mr. Margolin. Strolling, he retweets a lot of people. Let's see what else Mr. Golden right here. Okay, here's another one. This was 20 hours ago from Real Mark Golden. If you aren't happy, do something about it. Shit, or get off the pot.
And that's how we will end this episode
Shit,
of the Horsemen Hangout.
or get off the pot. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.
To the two horsemen.
To the two horsemen. Get our twos up, Stephen. Get our twos up.
We are Tully Blanchard, and I don't know who you want to be.
I'll be Sid with the scissors.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. See you at the Rumble. Later on.